Pretty much, yes, we're live. We're on the air. So this is going to be a fun show tonight. We have a great returning host for the tonight's show. Those of you who remember back in the day, way back in the day, like 20 years ago, we had our great host, Nhum, and she's back. Yay! Hi, Navi.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Bien.
Bien. The reason we have Navi on the show today is because we're talking about food photography. And Navi is probably, if not the best, one of the best food photographers I've ever known and seen. Her work is incredible. She's been published in Look Local magazine and other things. And she has a sense unlike anyone else I've seen. It's awesome having you back on the show, Nav.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for saying yes.
Eating food and whatnot, so.
Perfect. It's a perfect match for you here, then. And, of course, like usual, we have Phil Zoratto. Phil, hello.
Hello.
And we have Michael Lane. Good day,
Bonjour.
sir. Bonjour, ça va?
Ça va?
I know all these languages. Look at me.
I'm glad we started English.
Well, yes. So I'm still working on the English. No good on the English. But anyway, tonight we're talking about food photography. Now, those of you may know, you may not know, but you should know, that on August 28th we have a food photography masterclass with Nhum at the Lost Studio, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and there's going to be so many cool things that we're going to talk about. But it's geared more for taking your photography to the ultimate level, making the perfect food photography. Proper lighting, DSLR, proper composition, pretty much the best possible food photography you can do. Tonight we're going to be talking about how to do it with what you already own. Cell phones, point and shoots, working with available light, not making it too complicated. So if you have any questions beyond what we get into today, register for the session for the 28th. It's only $200, and it's going to be a 4-hour session at the Lost Studio. Lots of cool tips and techniques that you're going to learn, very hands-on.
Tasty goodies.
And some goodies.
Trust me, there will be nothing left but crumbs. Probably not even crumbs. That stuff up.
Actually, that'd be a good photo, too, just the crumbs.
No, there won't be any left. All gone.
Lick your phone. Michelle, but Brian, can you speak jive? No, I can't speak jive. Oh,
that's a
yes,
fantastic movie.
Oh, that was brilliant.
You see that 8-year-old woman who's like, but I speak jive.
That's what jive, honky. Yeah. That was a great movie. And yes, every time I go on an airplane, or used to go on airplanes because I don't do it anymore, I always used to look for the nun and the people playing guitar and all the characters that you saw on airplane before we went up, because then we knew we'd be safe if they were all on board. Squirrel. I'm squirreling already. Navi, it's your fault.
Somehow.
I'm here.
Okay, let's focus. So food photography can get very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Very expensive if you buy the right gear and the right lights. We want to keep things more cheap for tonight's show. We want to make sure that you're getting some tips on how you can do it on the down low. Mind you, on our session, Navi always has some great tips on how to do things at a reasonable cost, get props and so on, because Navi is amazing with finances. But but yeah, what's that, Nav?
Get stuff done.
Get it done. Okay, first let's say hello. Good evening to Jerry. Good evening to Lena. Hello. And hi to Sheila. Everybody's saying Ivan. Ivan's watching. We got a nice turnout tonight. This is great. Just to remind everybody who's watching, Jason, hello, how are you? If you have anything you'd like to add to our conversation, if you have some advice or some experience of your own, feel free to post it in the Q&A like everybody's doing already. Chime in, let us know what you're up to, let us know what you're thinking, or just give us some thoughts and comments. That'd be really great to hear from everybody. And as usual, if you're watching this show on YouTube, please click like. Tell the world that you're watching, because that's how the word gets out there. When we have lots of likes, people will come. I don't know. Is that how it works? Michael, do you know these things?
If you build it, they will come.
I'll go with his answer.
I'll go with that, too. Gabriel's watching. Gabriel, he's watching. Look at this. He goes, amazing with finances equals code for cheap. Yeah, we know Navi well enough.
No, there's a difference between cheap and frugal and ass kicker.
You got a little bit of each of those, so it's okay.
Hey, someone's going to keep the, flow going in the loft.
That's right. Oh, and for those of you who don't know, Navi is one of the partners in the Loft Studio, along with myself, Gabriel, Robert Schindleheim, and Joseph Leduc. And this is where we hold the Daytripper sessions these days. It's been so much fun using the space. And after the session, we usually have a hangout there to review all the photos and talk about editing tips and so on. So that's all included in this masterclass that we're going to be running. I do encourage, if anybody's interested in finding out more, go to daytripperphoto.com and check out the information there. Mark is watching from Sudbury today. Man, Mark is everywhere. Cool. All right, well, we've got lots of people watching. Let's start talking about this so we can get through all the little tips and notes. Oh, Oreos. Really, Navi?
Nice.
I had
Oreos
to
and
turn over there and get some because I was craving these. Sorry.
Oh, man, they're so good.
I
Okay,
mean,
so
talk about food and me not eat.
I know, and that's
Good
actually
point.
something I was going to be a little worried about. Like, we're going to be getting into all this food talk, and I've got nothing here. I've got lemon water.
Later, and hopefully everyone's already had their dinner, but there's always room for Oreos.
Unfortunately so.
I'm
Unfortunately
going to have like Oreos all up in my face and teeth, so let me know.
so.
Let me know if there's Oreos in my teeth.
Well, as of right now, there's nothing, so we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, so for those of you watching, please join the Daytripper Photo community on Google+. I was just mentioning we have something like 465 people now in the community, which is really, really, really amazing. If all of you folks who are in the community started contributing for our photo challenges, we would have to make much longer photo challenge review shows.
yes.
Yes. That's not a bad thing, but it could be fun. So
Speaking
please.
of photo challenges.
Yeah, speaking of photo challenges, good segue.
It's only a good segue if you point it out.
This guy right here made a bit of a last show, and when Michael made the suggestion that we do the Zagarnik effect, I was like, yes, that's a great idea. Let's roll that into the photo challenge and give double points. And then all of a sudden, I think it was Tammy mentioned on the page, what's going on? Like, how is this supposed to work? And I was like, yeah, how is this supposed to work? Giving triple doubles and 2 extra points for licking your dog or something. So we have to change it up a little bit. There was never any dog licking. I was just making that up. Why do I
It's
say
always
things?
optional, though.
Yes, it is. Hey, there's a Zagarnik effect photo. The dog about to bite you because you're licking the dog. Anyway, we have 2 photo challenges that we're going to issue. 2 separate, complete photo challenges. One will be food, and we really hope to see a lot of food photos because it's fun and everybody takes pictures of their food. I don't know why. We're going to talk about that. And 2 would be the Zagarnik effect photo. So for those of you who don't know what this is, the Zagarnik effect, and I did a little research here, essentially what it is the psychology of the mind has a really hard time with things that are unfinished. So when you see something like a person about to step on a tack or a dart about to pop a balloon, your mind is just uneasy because you know something has to be finished, and all you're seeing is that before it happened moment. Am I getting that right, Michael?
Yeah.
So that's the whole point, right? You're that moment before something important's happening. Your brain's trying to fill in the answers. It's trying to make things complete, and it's not. So that's a really different twist to any photo challenge that we've done. So I got very excited about it. So that's why there's 2 separate challenges. Now, the cool thing is if you roll both of them into one, you may win with the 6 points, but you may get an extra 2 points if they're both combined. So 6 points for food, 6 points for Zagarnik. If you roll them both into one, you are likely to win up to 8 points on that photo if you do well. So lots of different options for you this time. Please contribute to the photo challenge. We love going over the images, and when we have a little bit of time to do so, our reviews are a little bit more thought out and prepared. So please have your photos in before the show starts. That way we can actually spend some time chatting about your images before we have to do the review.
And remember, they have to be posted to the right part.
Oh,
letting you
right.
come in on this one because I can't remember how to do that on Google+.
So within the Daytripper Photo community, there's walls. And as you post something, it's going to ask you what wall do you want to post it to, and it's Weekly Photo Challenge. Mm-hmm. So post it to the Weekly Photo Challenge wall, and then when we're doing a review, that's what we're looking at, and we'll see all your photos.
Yeah.
And
we don't miss anything.
Yeah, we don't want to miss your photo. It's happened, and people get a little bit upset. So please let us know it's by putting it in the proper wall, and we'll see it. And also, what was I just going to say? I don't know. I'm sure I'll think of it. But yeah, submit photos for the photo challenge. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that next review, by the way, is on August 31st, so you have lots of time. That's going to be our show number 188, and this today is show number 186. So 186 shows, Navi. We've done quite a few. How long has it been since you've been a host?
Well, I don't know, 6 months at least.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Anyway, it's good to have you back.
Thanks for having me. It's fun being back. I have something to do at night on a Wednesday as opposed to sitting there playing video games or.
Well, usually you teach.
Yeah, so it's I'm on my summer break for a whole month. Back to it in like 3 weeks. So yeah, I'll be back teaching again on Wednesday night. So I catch you guys on my drive home. I usually finish my class around 9:30.
Yeah, you got to watch that data though because.
Oh yeah, I started racking up the data minutes. I was like, oh shoot, I'm almost 500 megabytes over. There's an extra $50.
Yeah, that sucks.
I tuned in for the Phil jokes.
There we go. They're so good.
And then when Gabriel was on, I did catch myself chuckling out loud because the joke was so cheesy, but I love cheesy jokes, what can I say?
I'm going to have to work on my one-liners.
Yeah, right. All right, guys.
As far as when Phil's laughing, or Phil is the only person laughing at his joke.
I love it.
I'm laughing.
That happens a lot.
What happens sometimes is you say your joke before anybody's really listening, so it's kind of underneath other people, and nobody can really hear the joke, and then you start laughing, and we're like, what just happened?
Your fans are laughing along with you.
Yeah,
that's what I hope. It's always with, right? That's what it is. It's with.
Absolutely.
Your face, it'll just say, "I'm laughing with Phil."
There we go.
All right, guys, let's get into this here a little bit. I just want to remind folks that we do have some great sponsors on the show. The sponsors have given us prizes to give away for the photo challenges. Lots of folks have already gotten lens pens over the past years. So thank you very much to LensPen for being such a solid sponsor for us. Sennheiser is our newest sponsor, which I'm still very excited about. And Phil, I'm still a little disappointed you're not wearing the Sennheiser headphones right now.
I was listening to them earlier today when I was doing some editing.
They are better for music than they are for, wearing for long periods on a show like this, I think.
Well, I also need to hear if my dogs need to go outside. And they work very well at ignoring the dogs, which is both a good and a bad thing.
Good point. Good point. They are noise-canceling headphones, so that does that. And also, thank you to Cotton Carrier. I've been using Cotton Carrier gear for 4 years or so. Love the Cotton Carrier stuff, the hip holsters, the hand straps. So for those of you who win in our photo challenges, the quarterly period of time for the photo challenge, you're going to get a hip holster, you're going to get a hand strap, as well as a lot of the other prizes that we're giving away. So keep on submitting for these challenges, guys. And last but not least, I really want to thank Sigma and Gentech, the distributor for Sigma, for letting us use all the lenses they do during our day trips. This past session that we had with Joseph Leduc, the water droplet one, or the water liquid art session, we had all the Sigma lenses there. Navi, we have the Sigma lenses for your session coming up as well. And, with these lenses, it just opens up all kinds of different opportunities to get creative and to try things you might not have done otherwise. Having a fisheye, having a macro, having a 180 millimeter macro, not just a 105. It's such a different look. So it's really cool.
When people try out the macro lenses, they end up buying one just because it's such a beautiful lens. It's sort of 100 mil focal length for portraits or food or macro shots. So I know you guys already had a show on macro lenses and stuff, but I love a macro lens.
No, it's true. And the longer the focal length, the shallower the depth of field, and the juicier it gets. So lots of cool stuff. So thank you to all our sponsors. And that's about it for our little banter, chatty part of the show. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about some food photography. What is that fascination? What do people really want from food photos? Navi, why does everybody do this?
Well, I mean, we live in the whole generation of sharing. We share everything, and I think most of the time when we're out eating or whatever, we see food that's appealing, we want to capture the moment, or especially if it's something that we can't or don't make at home, we want to just take a nice picture of it to remember. But then with social media, we want to share it, all that stuff, and it sort of just becomes this huge thing where no one really cares what the hell I had for lunch, but you might appreciate a nice photo of a burger or some sushi. And I post stuff on my Instagram and my social media purposely around lunchtime. I piss a lot of people off because they're stuck at their desk and they want to eat, but it's great, and it kind of brings maybe a little smile to you, and that's all that matters.
That's interesting. And now, when I was a kid, they didn't have these kinds of restaurants, or at least I didn't know about them. Now everybody has really good-looking food everywhere you go.
Are aware of that. Like restaurants are aware of this, and they know like they always encourage people to take photos of their food and hashtag it because it's free advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's a great way for them to get their name out there, and it kind of brings up their game because they have to have this, not only great tasting food but great presentations, so that people will want to come here and take those photos and tell all their friends about it.
Mm-hmm. I just pulled up your website for your food photography. Now this is something that you've recently started up, but you've been shooting food for a while. Why did it take you so long to start posting all your food photos?
Well, I was posting them to my more so my personal account and just sort of on Facebook and stuff, but it kind of got mixed up and mishmashed with my wedding stuff, my portrait stuff. I wanted to just really focus more on the food stuff and have it in a separate place. So I figured, like right now, my website is my Instagram feed, and I'm sort of working on building an actual site for it. But most of it is photos. I don't really do food blogging or recipes and that kind of thing. So I don't really need a page with, I guess, text right now. But the photos that you see on my page there, which is nyumbai.ca, which, as you can see on the description, it actually means eat rice, like literally, so eat rice in Cambodian, or we use it loosely to say eat. So like if you want to eat or do you want to come over and eat, it'll just say nyumbai.
So you say nyumbai and everybody shows up.
Pretty much.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I mean, when you first told me about this, I thought it was brilliant. I've always been a fan of your food photography. You know that. So finally, it's good to see that you're putting it out there and you're getting that recognition. For example, one of the really cool things that I've gotten to do lately is work kind of with you sometimes when you go and shoot for Look Local magazine. Mm-hmm. I got one of the Look Local ads here that you've shot. I'll just pull up and show the world here for a minute. This is for the Roman Bistro Ristorante. Shooting some of these things with you, like I went to the crepes place with you and to the tea shop, and just watching the way you work, you're so efficient. You get in, you get your lights set up, you get the plate down there, and then it's like watching a master at work. Oh wait, no, that doesn't look right. No, this should be here. Put a little piece of basil on. The details. And it's that extra 10%, isn't it?
It is, and it's for me personally, I feel that the details make me happy, but also make me want to pull my hair out. I'm so, sometimes I get so anal about just like little things that need to be here and there, and I spend so much time on one shot that I'm just like, why am I doing this for one photo, But in the end, it's art and it's gratifying to me, so I don't know, I love it. And I love food, but who doesn't? So when people say they love food, like whatever, everyone does.
Now, do you think food photography has made you enjoy food more?
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it more, and how much time and effort goes into the plating. I don't know if I ever told you this, but like 10 years ago, it's still a dream. If I ever win the lottery, I wanted to open a restaurant called Garnish. I'm an okay cook, but my mom's always like, you don't know how to make anything.
Well, your mom is a good cook.
Yeah, she's incredible. So, so I've always, had a fascination with it, mostly the eating part. But, yeah, now it's nice to kind of play around with it, too.
It's funny you say that because Shelly and I were driving back from up north one time, and we were talking about having a restaurant. Shelly is an amazing baker and so on. And we were going to call it Eats in the Piddle because it was going to have a really nice bathroom and lots of good food. But anyway.
It's an underrated part of a restaurant.
I think so. I mean, the urinals would have video games, so when you're sitting there, you can like aim and kill things when you're eating.
Ben would never get out of the bathroom, even more now.
Yeah, that's true.
Like my date either left or was playing video games.
It would finally take us just as long to get ready.
Oh, boom, boom. Where's the sound effect when you need it? That was a good one.
Working on my one-liners.
That was a good one-liner. There you go.
Okay, now using regular stuff that everybody owns. We all have a cell phone these days. We all have point-and-shoots or smaller cameras. It's not always carrying an SLR around to every restaurant we go to. So most of the time when we're making food photos, don't you think it's all about pulling out your cell phone and taking the pictures like that?
It's still how you use it, right? And lighting, that's like the biggest thing. You take a beautiful dish and put it in really terrible lighting, and it's just gonna look like. And I wish I can show you the photo I took last night. I was at this really nice restaurant. I can't remember the name of it, downtown Toronto, and it was like this really super fancy dish with like this long wood board with duck and all this other stuff. And I go to take a picture, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll just delete that later.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do the food justice, you know. Like, so you still have to, whether you have a phone or an SLR, still have an idea of lighting and, you know, composition and what makes something look better than the other.
Kind of like this. Just a cluster of nastiness.
Wait for it. Yeah.
See, I am not a food photographer, and Shelly makes the most amazing treats and squares, and I've always wanted to make these great photos, so I get all set up, I pull out the board, I put the backdrop, which happens to be a sheet that I've just lifted up behind.
The tablecloth.
The tablecloths I've lifted up behind, and I'm thinking, I should put a cup of coffee in here. And it's just horrible. Navi, help me, please.
Well, keep in mind, too, brown food is one of the hardest things to shoot because, you know, it's not anything, but it's not super bright, and it's not the most colorful, tasty-looking color.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to be careful with your lighting, and you know, and you have to think about what compositions will make it look like you want to eat off the screen, right? That's the whole point of like food photos. You want to make it look like this person wants to reach through this phone and screen and eat it or lick it off the screen.
That's why your hashtag is lick your phone.
Lick your phone.
Okay.
There's a lot of interesting other things. Hashtag that. So I'm warning people. For work.
It's not just for food anymore.
Exactly. Yes.
Michael, what kind of food photography have you been up to in the past?
The food photography I've done has all been assignments for school that we were doing in our commercial class. So we learned a lot about lighting was really the main focus, was how to light different food and actually how that applies, how some of the same principles apply across the board. Like if you know the proper approach to food photography, you can shoot any clothing, you can shoot any tabletop product. Like anything aside from metal and glass really has its own rules, but anything that revolves around having these finite textures, food teaches you a lot of those disciplines.
I know our friend Ross Chevalier, when he ever does a private mentorship with somebody, one of the challenges he issues is the fruit bowl. I guess that's a challenge of light, that, you know, eliminating shadows just by taking a picture of a fruit bowl. Have any of you done the fruit bowl photo in the past?
I have not.
No.
I've never, I think of like product photography in school. I always think about the wine glass or wine bottle.
Oh, yeah.
With like the shot that you have to really learn about lighting and how to do, you know, shoot black on black.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have yet to shoot my own bottle to kind of get that under my belt.
Gabriel did a great job. When he was on the show, he shot the whiskey bottle.
Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, he did a phenomenal job. Just how hard it is to shoot glass and not have all the reflections and,
Right.
you know, just cleaning it. And that's part of the details. And that's one of the things that I have in my food photography tips list. One of the things you want to do is have clean dishes, have clean plates.
Mm-hmm.
That detail, right? What do you have there, Michael?
One of my assignments that, as I mentioned, I got a terrible grade on. But lighting glass is both very, very tricky and very rewarding once you get used to it. But then there's always my option, which is cheating. This is actually a composite. Just the single bottle is copy and pasted. It's all the same bottle.
Oh.
But this bottle itself is a composite. I lit the lid, the neck, the body, and the label all separately.
Very cool. Looks. I really like that. I like the color.
You got such bad rate score on it because I like it.
Mm-hmm.
What was the critique on it?
Mainly how poorly I did the background.
Huh.
Which the background's completely fake, and I don't know if this is grain or oats or something, trying to represent the beer falling in the background, but I
Okay.
blended it in really poorly. So, and my fake ice didn't look nice. It wasn't very nice ice.
And actually, that's one of the tells that you were cloning every one because the ice is in the exact same spot on every bottle.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. Christine says, "Good evening, everyone. I was really looking forward to watching tonight's show live, but my computer has other plans, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Excited to watch it tomorrow as I have an idea brewing for the current challenge. Brewing.
Exciting.
I wonder if that means she's making tea or coffee or something. That'd be cool." And Stan, hey, I haven't seen Stan in a really long time. He says, "Cotton gloves always in use to avoid fingerprints."
Yes.
Do you use cotton gloves when you shoot this stuff, Navi?
I sometimes use the lint-free gloves that we have at Henry's there for film and stuff like that. When I'm using fibers as cotton, little sort of pieces of cotton get stuck on stuff.
Okay.
So I have a little toolbox of little devices and basically a kit of things that I use during my food shoot, which I will show you at the workshop. Kind of tips on that.
Very cool.
Yep.
And I use nitrile gloves.
Let's see that.
Nitrile. So
Yes.
the hypoallergenic approach to latex gloves. And I got lucky and found some black ones, which are nice so that you don't get reflections in the shot.
Good idea.
Come on, dude.
Details. It's all
Thanks
about the
for the
details.
reminder. Actually, I'm gonna put that in my phone. I think I have those in my laundry room that I never use.
So we've talked about lighting. Now, if we're going to be at a restaurant, we're going to use our cell phone to snap a photo of our food. Most of these places are going to have very orangey or not very clean lighting. Would you suggest, like, take it to a window or do something like that?
It depends. Like, if you're going out to, have a good time and enjoy the company of your friends and eat, and you happen to get a nice dish, you're not really, well, maybe you will, but I'm not going to walk over to the window and just take a food shot. Like, I don't want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about doing this yesterday at that restaurant because it was really nice. Like, the clouds were sort of breaking and some light was coming into the restaurant. I was like, I wish we were sitting over there right now, And one of my friends that I was with, she's a huge foodie, and she was trying to take photos, and we took the crappiest photo. We're like, whatever, and we just ate it. So sometimes it's like I just want to enjoy the food and not worry so much about taking that shot, because by the time it's done, it's cold and I get yelled at. So.
Well, that's one of the tips that I read as well. For example, if you're making vegetables, rather than cooking all the vegetables all the way through and then putting them on a plate and taking the photos of it, put the vegetables on the plate when they're still cooking, so they're hot and they're looking fluffy and plump, nice and fresh, and you get the steam. And then when you're done taking the photo, put it back in the pot and finish the cooking. They
do the same thing for things like meats as well, like burgers and stuff like that, because a dry burger does not look tasty. So.
And I always overcook a burger.
My crappy cell phone photo that I took yesterday. Let's see here. Can you see that?
Yes.
So this was like a shrimp curry lime thing. Amazing. This was just before I dropped my phone and like had the chopsticks, everything just flying everywhere. I was not only that guy, but I was that loud guy. So it just kind of like went everywhere. So and then of course the waiter came over. Was like, "Was everything okay?" I'm like, "Yep." Nothing to worry about.
It reminds me of this here, Navi. Some people take it too far. I know people take pictures of their food, but come on, really?
Yeah.
That's the same angle you've got there.
I stood up at the table, but I was like, shoot. I'm
that person. Sometimes you just got to do it. I mean, we all take pictures and we love it. And when we have something that looks so good as a really nice, tasty dish, and this is a really great idea that Gabriel had. He took a bunch of photos of the sushi that you guys had, and he brought it over to the sushi restaurant.
Yeah. They apparently loved it. They were like gasping.
Really? That's amazing. I was so impressed. I mean, when he took a picture and shared that with us, that was just such a great idea. And there's so many, there's so many really great restaurants along Main Street in Newmarket. To take pictures of all the food from all the different restaurants, that would be quite the portfolio.
Yeah, it was. And the best thing about food photography that I love the most is, with regular photography, your reward is the photos. Food, assuming it's edible, you have the food and the photos. Win! And
Yeah, have a cake, you need it too.
Exactly.
Did the phone land in the bowl, Maddie?
It just missed. Like, if this was the bowl, if we're looking down, it landed sort of like here. It hit the
Ooh.
chopstick and like the other bowl, smaller bowls, and chopstick kind of went flying. So my friend who's sitting next to me, her face just went beet red. Can't take me anywhere.
That's awesome, though. That's the kind of stuff you remember.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, so some more little tips that we can give here. Excuse me. We've talked about lighting being so important. Keep it simple. What do you think of that? Like, everybody says keep it simple.
Yeah. I think the food should still, tell some sort of story. You see, especially now, like sort of lifestyle type shots. I sort of categorize the lifestyle food stuff and like commercial stuff, right? Where commercial stuff I find usually a little more simple, like it's like the product and then maybe a couple accessories. Where lifestyle shots, you'll see those big tables with hands in action and lots of sort of props and that kind of thing. So I guess this depends on what kind of look you're going for. But sometimes you just want to showcase that one thing, and having all these extra props can sort of distract you from that juicy burger or whatever. So just
Sorry, Jason has a question. He says, do restaurant chefs get upset when you rearrange their plates for a photo shoot?
I've had a mixture of both. I had one restaurant where he was very adamant of, he kind of plated it himself, he brought it out, and he kind of placed it. And I wanted to move or add like a pepper or whatever, and he was just kind of like, how about this? He wasn't mad, but he was giving a lot of suggestions along the way, and I from a photographer's eye, it wasn't that good. Because of the angle I was shooting from. Like, it was just sort of a randomly placed pepper that just looked weird there. So I took the photo anyways, and then kind of played around with it myself, just kind of make them happy. In the end, for the magazine or whatever, it's my choice and the publisher's choice or the editor's choice of what they want to use. But I've been to restaurants where they're just like, here, just tell me what you need, and do your thing. So.
I wish I could find your crepe photo.
Oh, I thought I posted it in the.
It is in the chat.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me
It
pull
looks
that up.
tasty.
Lovely, because you have your photo, and this is the conversation we're having today, the difference between shooting with SLR, shooting with a cell phone, lighting, and so on. Oh, featured, eh? Look at that. So let's do a screen share here. This is Navi's photo submitted for Look Local magazine for Crepe Star Dessert Bistro and Cafe. That was a delicious shoot, by the way.
It was, except that was also the day I ate trunk sausage.
Oh, right, trunk sausage.
Yes.
That was never good.
Don't eat things that have been sitting in your trunk for an hour, folks.
Okay, that's trunk sausage. I was kind of curious if it was this like new thing. And it's just literal trunk sausage.
Unfortunately, not for me.
Okay.
No. And now there's trunk everything. Don't eat trunk watermelon. It's horrible. Just anything.
Yeah, that might be dangerous.
So, Navi, we sat there. I mean, we weren't there for more than about a half hour, 40 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And you got a few awesome shots, and then we got to munch down on the food. But, of course, while Navi was setting up, I had to take a behind-the-scenes shot. Now, cell phones do a great job, and I kind of like the photo. And I'm sorry, Navi, I should have shown this before we went on air. But this is just the cell phone shot with you putting mint on that you thought afterward and thought mint doesn't belong here at all and took it off again. And
Well, it's nice color.
well, it's about the color. And that's something that's really important because when we're dressing a plate for a photo, complementary colors, you want things that are going to tell a proper story. So if the mint helped the story, that's one thing. But
Now, this is one of the trickier shoots because it's ice cream. It's time sensitive, right? So the crepe started off like this and started going like this.
yeah.
So we were shooting, and same with the whipped cream there. From my experience shooting at the shopping chain and stuff, like that stuff is fake, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna sit there forever, or it's some weird scientific name material that doesn't melt. So
Well,
that's-
we were
Mashed
talking.
potatoes instead of ice cream.
Yeah, we were talking with Joe LeDuc, who used to shoot for Sears Magazine, and they take a hunk of lard instead of ice cream, or they pay $10, $15 or for ice cube or something that's just
Ooh.
plastic.
I was looking to buy one. It was $45 for one.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's different qualities in the material and the ice. So for commercial photographers who are doing a lot of liquid and beverage stuff, like it's gonna look better and it's gonna look more real, but you're also paying $45 for one cube.
So yeah, how do you advise people get past that kind of hurdle? I mean, that's not cheap.
Well, it depends what they want to do. Like, most people they're not looking to become professional food photographers or commercial things, right? They just want to they enjoy taking photos, they enjoy cooking, or they just want to share the recipes and stuff like that. So I find that a lot of the food bloggers now are using real stuff, right? It's they have this sort of process of how it's made and then the final product.
Right.
But for things that are time sensitive, they have everything laid out and ready to go before anything's plated. So for the local stuff, I find it really tricky because I don't always know what I'm shooting until the day before or the day of, so I don't have a ton of time to prep and get the proper props and things for it. And B, we have an hour, 45 minutes to do it, so it can be a little bit challenging, but it's super fun. I love doing it.
Well, you cook as well, and your fiance. It sounds funny to say. You and Devin are both cooks, and you both make some really interesting food, and your food background is so eclectic with your nationality and where you've lived and all the different experiences you've had. So that's got to help you out quite a bit when it comes to composing images or composing plates, I should say.
Yeah. My mother, I always make fun of her, but she always feels the need to move things like plates and bowls on a table to make it look good, even though people have already started eating it, but she's very good. So, I kind of get my OCD from her about that. But like for me, I'm trying to incorporate more, I guess, different types of food, because we see a lot of burgers, we see a lot of ice cream, we see how many times have we seen the picture of somebody holding an ice cream cone in front of a bright colored wall? Right, so I'm trying to bring a different flavor, for lack of a better word, to the food photography, and I think it's definitely helped having that background where my mom doesn't make spaghetti, some crazy stir fry that I have to figure out.
And then she brings it into you at work.
Yeah, and she's so funny because when I tell her I'm going to shoot it, she will put it in her to-go, takeout container, all nice. And I'm like, no, I'm going to take it out and put it on a plate. She's like, oh, I just spent 10 minutes making it nice in this container for you.
Yeah, it's not quite going to work for the photo. Yeah. This is one of the shots that you've made, and one of the things that I'm going to talk about is how to tell the story with your photo. This is from a series of photos that you made.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I started a series about a year ago now. I'm still it's an ongoing thing, but it's called TV Dinners, and I was just thinking about the shows that I like to watch and the food that's associated with the characters of the show. So I've done, that was Dexter, that one that you were showing there with the blood oranges. So for those who watch Dexter, you'll know the references in that, especially for the opening sequence, and I added that little bit of, what's it called, plastic wrap there for a little more Dexterish feel to it.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. I've done Homeland, I've done Walking Dead, I've done Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Lost, so it was sort of a fun personal project that wasn't, it's like winter time, you're kind of stuck in the house, can't shoot weddings or portraits, I need something to do. And it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it did. The whole series is awesome, so congratulations on that. Are you going to do any others? Do you have any other ones in mind?
I would like to do, I was actually discussing it with Gabriel today, I've been wanting to do a House of Cards forever, I just haven't had time to do it.
Ooh. Do you have an idea for it?
Yes, so I was going to do ribs. So that's way earlier in the series, so like season 1 and 2, where we go to that little dump where we would eat those ribs and the sort of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we have some ideas for that. The other thing is I don't watch enough shows. I don't know what else to do.
You gotta watch more TV to improve your food photography. Yeah. One of the things that I've learned, some tips or some notes that I've written here, show a before and an after shot. Is this something that you usually do, like while it's being cooked, the element of, I guess you could say it's like an environmental portrait of food because it's in its natural environment?
I haven't had a chance to do that very much because my kitchen, I wish it was bigger and I wish it was prettier, so I don't really have a lot of room for proper lighting and that kind of stuff, but I love those kind of shots because it really gives it that real feeling to it as opposed just to this setup pretty shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's nice sometimes seeing sort of the action of washing something or playing around with something in the food.
No, that's actually one of the other tips is the human element.
Yeah.
Bring the human element into it, which you've done really nicely in this shot here. Getting that drip. Is that balsamic vinegar you're putting on?
Yes, it's reduced balsamic vinegar.
Zeigarnik effect.
Yes. That's right.
What's going to happen?
It has to hit. It has to hit.
But did
That's exactly what I was picturing when I was talking about that challenge last week. I was doing something
really?
to this. If we were to combine it with food, yeah.
No.
Well, there's something that whoever's watching right now can see something like this and roll that into their own idea. But this is a great shot. What are these? What is this that you've?
This was what is that? Portobello mushrooms with mozzarella, with cherry tomatoes and basil, with the reduced balsamic vinegar sauce. Delicious.
Yum.
But it is hot.
Hot, spicy hot?
Mushrooms. No, temperature hot.
Oh, okay.
Better let it sit, because, there goes the entire top of your mouth.
Ooh, yuck. Not good.
That's a sticky cheese, too.
Yes, so, you're like, when you bite into that pizza, you're like, oh, it's so good. And you're like,
Yeah.
Okay, so now as far as how you got into doing this stuff, like food photography is obviously a passion for you, but did you just start making images and that led to Look Local and that led to the other opportunities?
Yeah, I just sort of, started taking more time with my meals and actually, oh, this looks nice in this light, kind of experimenting with it, and then started doing that food series there, and it kind of just went from there. And it's something that I think with anything, if you really enjoy it and you're really passionate about it, you're going to put a little bit extra work and effort into it, and you'll normally see the results of that effort.
When you're making your food photos, are you thinking about the story?
I try to. I try to have some sort of background to the picture. I'll usually write in a caption as well if it's just sort of a close-up shot. But it's always good to have some sort of, you want to create some sort of emotional connection with your viewer. Like basically, you want them to want to eat what you're showing. Because it's not like a portrait where you have the eyes to connect with. So you have to kind of, work a little bit harder to create that image that will create a connection with your viewer.
That's hard to do when you don't really know how to compose a dish or how to light the thing properly. You don't get that emotion out of it unless you gain the experience, I guess. It's just a matter of doing it and looking at other people's work. I see you all the time. You're always looking at other people's food photos.
Yeah, that's mostly because I'm hungry a lot.
I just like to eat.
Hungry again? You just ate. Yes, that was only like 3 minutes ago. It's fine.
I need an Oreo. That's cool. In our notes that we have here, one of the things we talked about already is use simple props, like raw ingredients. Like I noticed that you use a lot of raw ingredients. Phil, did you write I'm vegan?
No, it's something that seems like it would fit in there.
Oh, okay. I thought you were Daniel Bryan for a minute, but
it is.
He's a wrestler. He's a vegan.
Okay.
Anyway, so for raw ingredients, you use a lot of spices and a lot of things like that in your food photography?
I love using herbs. I have this massive, like, what do they call it? Miracle Grow thing in my house. Like it's like a little mini garden, and the basil is just out of control now. And I was giving away dill like it was, well, they call it dill weed. I know why they call it dill weed, because it grows like a weed.
Oh yeah, I hate dill. I hate dill.
Well, I mean, you use it in like one dish and then it just kind of goes to waste. I love the colors, the fresh herbs. just looks so nice as even a garnish, even if it doesn't go with the dish, like the mint.
It's a good garnish. Now, food photography and the love of food, obviously they go hand in hand, but which came first for you?
The love of food.
Yeah.
Like I said, everyone loves food. Who doesn't love food?
Yeah, but I love food, but I've never really gone to these fancy restaurants. I mean, when I get the coolest experience I had was one Valentine's Day. Shelly made me an amazing spread, shrimp cocktail and all these amazing dishes, and the table was all decked out, and there was hearts on the table, and there was candles, and it was just like, oh my God, where's my camera? I got my camera. I spent about 40 minutes taking pictures. The food was so cold afterward, and Shelly was like super accommodating, and the photos just sucked. I mean, I had everything I needed, and yet I couldn't piece it together because I don't have that experience or that creative eye. I don't know, but not everybody has that.
Well, I think it comes with practice too. Like you kind of start figuring out, what angles looks better, what angle works with this type of dish. Is it gonna be a top-down shot? It can be 45 degree. You're gonna shoot lower to make it look bigger. So just you learn as you go along. I wouldn't say I'm this big expert or anything. Like I love doing it. I think I'm pretty good at it. But I'm learning things every day, and I love just like watching other photographers at work as well, because everyone has their own little tips and tricks.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a really great trick about how to make your bowl look fuller without actually using more food, which I'll show at the workshop.
Lovely. Very good. Very cool.
It's like visual clickbait.
Yes. Watch what happens next.
Yeah.
And tune in live. Okay, so that's cool. So what other things are you going to be getting into in the session that just doesn't really work for using a cell phone?
Settings, camera settings. What kind of settings work in different lighting conditions? Gear suggestions. Lighting itself is a big thing, whether you want to use natural light or studio light. I think a lot of food photographers love using natural light, like they have big windows, that kind of thing. Not everyone has big windows. Not everyone has that perfect, time to shoot. Wintertime, it's dark 24/7. What are you going to do? So we're going to learn how to create natural-looking window light with some studio lights, or even flashes, because sometimes I'm too lazy to pull up my studio lights. I'll just do it with a flash and make it work.
It's interesting you say that, because Nab, we've been talking about this new photo challenge, the food photography challenge idea, that I am super excited about. We were supposed to do a test run at our last staff meeting, but we ran out of time for that. But this is something that when people take your food photography class, they'll learn how to do it, and then they can apply that in this food photography challenge that we're working on. Before we talk about the food photo challenge, I just want to get to Megan's question here. She says, what is your approach to post-processing? Do you do any retouching or compositing?
Yes, and sometimes. So it depends on your style. Like I see photographers who have sort of a darker, moodier feel to it. Some other people have complete opposite, where it's very bright, vibrant, light colored. So all my photos I do process to an extent to kind of, because I shoot a RAW, so I have to cook the photo.
Oh, irony.
Thanks,
or whatever we go with it, puns, something.
That's so funny.
So I have to, do something to the photos. And just to kind of bring out some of the extra colors and contrasts, I'll play around with that. Compositing, depending what I'm shooting, sometimes I have to, just because for example, there's a shot that I did not so long ago. Oh, yes.
It's like I could read your mind.
Yes, there we go. So this lovely, delicious lamb burger here, which was much, much squishier and smaller when I shot it, because I had asked them to, plate it, but I forgot to ask them not to squish it and make it stay like if they were actually serving it. So they kind of came and the bun was kind of,
compressed.
Think about what you see McDonald's ads and what you actually get.
Mm-hmm.
Same I do. So I had to make it a little juicier, I guess, and plump it up a little bit and fix some random crumbs and that kind of thing.
So in the original photo, the burger next to the little bucket of fries was a lot smaller.
the burger was squished down to probably where the metal basket starts.
So you just basically enlarge the burger a little bit to what it should have been.
Yeah, fill it out. Because normally, if you're gonna shoot something like that, you're gonna just sort of place them on as opposed to kind of thing.
I love the animation.
You just bring out the best of this product that will make you want to order this off the menu.
Right.
You're not gonna order this squishy little burger.
Are you going to be going over some of this stuff in the workshop?
Yes. Yep.
And also in the photo review a week after the workshop, we're going to do some quick edit tips and show people how to get the most out of their images in post as well. So that's an added bonus. Yeah,
and we'll also talk about props and what simple things you probably already have in your house that you can use for props to add a little bit more interest and story to your shot.
Very cool. Just trying to think. Another tip for people who are watching. You do the cooking and you do the photography. When you're making the food, do you make it differently because you know you're going to shoot it? Like one of the tips is add a bit of oil. Do you usually do something like that to keep it looking different?
If I have time, yes. Because a lot of times I'm cooking and I just want to eat it. It's a terrible, terrible thing because Devin gets home, he's like, I'm hungry. You're taking too long. That's an hour later. This is like, but if I have time, I'll try to sort of set aside, sort of a small amount that we can use to shoot. And here's a really good tip: do not shoot food when you're hungry. You're not going to take the time or effort to make it look good because you're just going to want to fly through it and then eat it. So have a little snack or something, and then go shooting it. Because Gabriel and I were shooting sushi the other day, and we're like, 36 pieces. We don't need all of it, right? By the time we were finished eating, we're like, that doesn't look like much sushi at all for this photo.
I got to be present during one of these food meetings between you and Gabriel. They sound far too fun.
They're fun.
Yeah, all right. So Gabe actually is watching still, and he says, when shooting with your camera phone, so many people forget to clean your lens. It's so true. There are so many blurry shots out there because people's lenses have a fingerprint on them. So what can we possibly do about this? What possibly? Oh yeah, use your T-shirt, or there's other ideas. Oh, wait a minute, lens pens. Yeah, this is the Mini Pro, and when you have a little cell phone or something like that, this is just a tiny little tip that you can use to clean off your camera phone thing. If this is gonna work, no, there's far too much other information. Here we go. Doesn't matter. Lens pen. So great products. Thank you, Lens Pen, for again your products and things like your Peeps, which you're not going to use on your food photography lenses or anything. But yeah, no new Peeps yet, Michael.
Some point.
Yes.
Remembered I stopped wearing glasses, so I don't need the Peeps anymore.
Oh yeah,
I got
that's right.
sunglasses and that kind of stuff too.
But no, it's a good point. I'm glad Gabe mentioned that. It's so true. So many times we're trying to take photos. Actually, it's really bad. I was at the last Birds of Prey session, and I went around handing out lens pens to everybody during the session, and then I pulled out my GoPro, and I shot the entire thing with my GoPro, and when I watched the video back, it was just crap because there was a huge fingerprint on the lens of the GoPro, and I didn't even clean it. Stupid. Mark says he keeps his lens pen in his jacket. Mark has many lens pens. I think many of the people in the Daytripper community end up with lens pens they can keep in every jacket that they ever wear. But that's not a bad thing. You can never have enough lens pens.
Unless you're Gabriel and you bring, you have many lens pens, but you bring the wrong one. He had, he's looking for a lens pen. The only one he had was like the little mini one.
Yeah.
For his camera, though, so we're like.
It takes a little bit longer to clean a full 77mm lens with a tiny lens pen. All right. Well, we've gone over a lot of really great stuff. Is there anything that you were thinking of that we haven't talked about yet, Nav?
I'm just trying to think here.
Michael, you asked if Navi shoots drinks and things like that.
Yes.
And Navi coyly said, "No, I don't do any beverages."
I saw the Coke.
Well, the Coke is one thing, but this bright
thing
and fruity pomegranate loveliness that you've made here.
Delicious.
Walk us through this. This isn't something you can do with a cell phone.
You could. It would take some, lighting rigs and whatnot, but I just sort of started dabbling with drinks, and I saw this lovely recipe, so I thought I would try it. But this photo drove me insane. So no joke, this shot took me 2.5 hours because I was getting so picky with the light. So I shot this inside. I was trying to recreate like a beach sun sort of tropical feel, and trying to get these stupid leaves to sit in one spot to give me the perfect shade or shadow is insanity. And I told you this, Brian. I got so mad at my foam core because it wasn't staying where it should. I threw it across the room and ruined my new foam core, and that just made me more mad.
Oh. Yeah.
It was tasty and refreshing, and it was almost worth it.
Did you actually end up drinking it?
I did. I made like 3 of them.
Okay, good. Good call.
Yeah.
As you say, you know, if you're going to be doing this kind of stuff hungry, make sure you have something for yourself.
Yes.
Very cool. All right, well, Navi, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, and I look forward to seeing some people at the food photography workshop.
Well, I know Michelle was watching. She's already registered, so there's I think three spots still open for it. So if anybody is interested, www.daytripperphoto.com. Register for the Nhum food photography session. As I said, it's only $200, and you get 4 hours of hands-on food photography classes in the Loft studio. And not only that, but you get a follow-up photo review about a week later at the studio where we're reviewing your photos. We're talking about how to finish them and editing and everything. It's an amazing experience for all of you who have been on a masterclass session, the one we did with Joe LeDuc, the one we did Don Komarechka. Navi's already had one. They are a blast. A lot of fun, a lot of knowledge transfer, lots of nuggets being thrown out, and you should definitely take part. So
I think
August 28th. Sorry, go ahead.
Super fun because like everyone loves playing with food, and I think having that food there, it's not going to talk back to you. It's not a portrait session where people get angry and they have to respond to how you position them, but you can kind of play around with it, and the photos that you're going to get from it, you're going to want to lick your screen. I promise. And then you can lick your food afterwards because we'll have to eat it. Somebody's got to eat it.
It's got to go somewhere. Do you know where we're getting food from yet?
It's a secret.
So
there's going to be sort of a various collection of food, so we're not going to be shooting, just everybody shooting the same thing. So we're going to be trying different lighting situations and different types of food, shapes, colors, cooked raw, maybe. We'll see.
So Phil the vegan will like it.
I should make a t-shirt just in time for that shoot because I want
to. Michelle, I can't wait either. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. All of Navi's sessions are a lot of fun. And I think we have a quote to finish off the rest of the day. Before we do that, though, I'm just going to remind people. Just want to remind everybody our current photo challenge is food, obviously, and the Zeigarnik effect. And if you don't know what the Zeigarnik effect is, please look it up. It's really interesting. It's that anticipating, mind filling in finishing a scene, getting some closure on something. And yes, Navi, that's it. Lots of really interesting things that we can do for the photo challenge. So get out there, make your photo. We've only had one photo challenge so far this quarter, so it's anybody's ball game. You can win a $350 Daytripper Photo gift certificate toward any session you want until the end of 2017. And by the way, the 2017 schedule is pretty much complete. We've got it already almost up. It'll be up by the end of September, so keep your eyes open for that. Lots of cool things, and the expo is coming back. What? Photo Expo. Maybe Navi will do a food photography session at the expo.
All the things that will give you a heart attack. I think that'd be really fun, actually, now that I think about it.
So, like the CNE food truck, we're going to have all the
bugs and stuff.
Something ridiculous. Like last year was...
Wasn't it the donut hamburger, the cronut burger?
And I think they just announced what the big thing this year was, but I missed it on the radio. All I heard was the radio announcer saying it gets more ridiculous every year.
Well, we're going on the 26th, so if anybody wants to go to the CNE and the food photography or the food trucks and all that kind of stuff, on the 26th I will be there. So very cool. For the Expo 2017, not 2016. It'll be September 8th and 9th, I think it is, something like that. And it will be held at the Loft Studio. Yes. It's going to be a completely different type of expo, but we'll talk about that down the road. Until then, Phil.
Yep.
What's the quote?
The quote for today applies to cooking as it does photography, if you just change one of the words. And it is, a recipe has no soul. You, as the cook, must bring soul to the recipe. It's Thomas Keller, an American restaurateur and chef.
Very much like photography.
Absolutely. And it was actually 2 words you have to replace, but same difference.
Yeah, I get the idea. Michael, anything you'd like to add before we say goodnight?
No, I'm out of ideas.
This is one of those shows that, you know, there's a lot to cover, but I'm so happy Navi was here to do it all. Food photography is not, I don't think, any of our forte, aside from you, Navi. So it's really nice that we had you on the show to go over all this stuff and to clarify. So thank you so much one more time, Nav. You're the best, yo.
I have one last thing to say.
Do it.
Everyone should go get some Oreos now.
Yes.
Yep.
Subliminal messaging, Oreos.
Oreos. Oreos, 3-day-old expired milk. I don't know.
What was that, Michael?
I said, Mom, where's the Oreos?
Ice cream. Navi brought us ice cream at work the other day. Oh, what a mess.
Real ice cream. Baskin Robbins ice cream. It's delicious.
Yes.
I
Really
say
good.
real ice cream because I got ice cream from McDonald's and I let it sit there in the back for 20 minutes. Went back there, still in the same shape. Didn't melt or anything. It was great.
That is bizarre. Definitely. All right. Well, that's it for us tonight, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you, everybody on the panel, for being here. Michael, thank you, sir, for being here this week. Hopefully, next week, we're going to give you the lead and let you talk about everything. What do you think?
Sure.
So
Put me on the spot again.
Yeah, exactly. The next photo challenge is partially your idea as well after this one. Remember, we're going to be doing album covers coming up. That's going to be a lot of fun. And Phil, thank you for being here as always.
No problem.
All right.
I always like being here.
Yeah, it's very cool. Oh, Oreos and cookies. Oh, Navi, are you okay?
Joking
Where's
on the
Dan?
Oreos.
I'm
Stop,
good.
drop, and roll.
Stop dropping rolls. That's something totally different. Phil shirt. All right, guys, that's it. I'm going to end the
It's terrible
broadcast.
one-liners.
Have a good night.
They might make more sense.
Peace, everybody. Take care.